What's up, fantasy managers? This is Jason, the lucky bastard Uthenwoldt, and you are watching the Fantasy Footballin show. Take 2. I did this all before, and then I went to go play and try to edit it, and it sounded like I was underwater. You couldn't even hear me. I went and got this. Hopefully, it works out this time. Going into this week is week 12, I believe. We're getting pretty close to playoff time. But before we get to the playoffs, we have to go to Thanksgiving, get all that food, numb it up, yum, 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 numb it all up, yum, 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 yum. And there's 3 games on Thanksgiving. So I had to contact the big boss man, Tyler, and I was like, how are we going to do player pause for 3 games? That's a 2-hour video with cuts and edits. We came up with Tyler came up with a plan that we just do kind of like 1 player pause for each team. That's like 6 total since there's 3 games. And that's what we're going to do. Before we get into that, please like this video if you like it. I know you like that intro because that intro is bad ass. That's all Tyler, people. That's all Tyler. Hit the like button for us. We'll appreciate that. We got 32 subscribers. We need 18 more. We're getting so close. If you get some subscriptions too. And then leave a comment telling us if we suck or if we rock or if we rock suck. I don't know. Just leave a comment, please. We love the interaction with you guys. All right, let's get into this again. Player pause. We got Bills and Lions. We got the Giants and Cowboys. We got the Pats at Vikings. All right. So, player pause. The Bills at the Lions. This one was tough to even like think about because with the Bills matchup, it's like you want to play everybody from the Bills, right? The Lions are just horrible on defense on every aspect of the game. They give up fantasy points to every position of the game. The Bills just played in Detroit last week, and they're back again to actually play the Lions. So they're a little familiar, they're comfortable. They've been to the local bars, they talk to people, they're part of the town now. It won't be an away game. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this, but I am just out here thinking of possibilities of maybe someone that you could pause, so I'm not sitting here trying to play everybody. And the only person I could really think about is Gabe Davis, and it's one of those situations where like if you start him, that's great. I would too if I had him on my team. I would start Gabe Davis. He's getting 29 targets in the last 4 games. That's pretty good. I think the little downfall right now is that we expected him to be scoring more touchdowns this year. He only has 1 touchdown in the last 4 games. And with those 29 targets, the ones that the receptions he's able to convert, he's averaging around like 50 to 60 yards in the last 4 games. He needs the touchdowns and he's not getting them. He could possibly get it this game. I could see like the Bills getting between like 35, 40 points. I could see it happening. But if I had to pause anybody, it would be Gabe Davis. But if you play him, hell yeah. There's a good chance he might tear it up, So, pause Gabe Davis. All right, next one is going to be my boomer bust. And what I normally do is, like, if I see a player and I see what he's, like, projected, I'm like, oh, I feel like he's definitely going to get more points than that, or he's definitely not going to reach that projection. And then I put him into the show, and we do an interview, and I ask if they come on, and they say no, they reject us because they don't know who we are, we get denied. Just kidding. We're not there yet. But that's how I do my boomer bust, is just offer projections. So, with that being said, James Cook, he's only projected 5 points. Last week, with 11 attempts, he got 86 yards. He got the fantasy manager 8 points. This is even a worse defense. I see him definitely getting more than 5 points. I can see the Bills getting to a huge lead like they did against the Browns, and then in the second half really try to slow things down and run the ball. They've been relying on the passing game a lot, especially in the second half, which is causing the Bills' leads to diminish. I think last week we probably saw maybe something where it's like, okay, we don't need to throw the ball so much when we're in the lead. Start running it. That's where James Cook did a bunch of his damage, and he looked good. He looked real good. I think Even if he's getting 10, 11, 12 touches, I think he might get some receptions this time. I think last week he had 2 targets, but he wasn't able to convert. Not his fault, though. I think there's a good chance he could put up 8 or 10 again, which would be 3 to 5 points over his projected points, and I think that would be a boom. A boom. I'm going to make sure my microphone is on mute. Do this for take 3. Yeah, so I think James Cook's going to do a boom. And I think there's a good chance he might get a touchdown. Oh, I threw it out there. It's out there in the world now. Everyone sees it. Everyone is blueprinted on the internet. I think he might get a touchdown. All right, next game, Giants and the Cowboys. You got to play Saquon Barkley, even though he had a bad week last week. Last time Saquon Barkley played against the Cowboys, he got over 20 points. This week, they're playing in Dallas, and they just lost their wide receiver, Robinson, with a ACL injury, so he's gone. There's not really a lot of passing options for the Giants. I think they're going to have to rely on him even more, and I think with all that opportunity that he's going to get through the passing game and running, I think he's going to still do well. He's going to do well against the Cowboys. Cowboys are 5th against opposing running back scoring, but their run game is not doing too well. It's been kind of loose a little bit. Take last week off the board because for some reason the Vikings stopped running. They abandoned it early, so they didn't give Dalvin Cook a chance. And maybe because the game got out of hand and they just put it in Kirk Cousins' hands, and well, we saw how that did. I think they're going to, and the Giants know this, right? Because they used Barkley earlier in the year, and like I said, he got 20 points. I think they're going to do a lot of running game, and I think he's going to get receptions too, especially if the game gets a little bit out of hand. They're going to be throwing it to Barkley a lot. I think he's going to get some receptions. So do me a favor and play him. Also, Barkley's averaging 16 points a game because he's been kind of killing it this year. So play him. Pause Daniel Jones. I know Daniel Jones is a guy that you probably picked up off of waivers because the quarterbacks this year are pretty thin. He's been doing pretty well. He's a guy that's like, he's been a good fill-in, but I think in this matchup, he's not going to be good. Last time they played, he only scored like 12 points. This time he lost his number one go-to guy and Wan'Dale Robinson. Last week, Robinson had 10 receptions for like 120 yards. Obviously, his favorite target at the time. He's gone. They have Slayton. Put Diggs on him. The Cowboys lead the league in sacks. I think he's going to be on the ground a lot. I think he's going to be running. I think he's going to get his points. Not most of his points, but he's going to get some points that could help him through running, scrambling and just running for some yards. But overall, I don't think he's going to be getting you like 15 or 20 points. I think you're hoping for him to get a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. I can see a passing touchdown, but I'm not too sure about a rushing touchdown this time. Like I said, I think they're going to be using Barkley definitely in the goal line. I think Daniel Jones is going to be on his back for most of the game. So I would put a pause on him. Also, the Cowboys are 5th in quarterback scoring too. So they got a pretty good defense. We saw it last week, and I think the defense is going to prevail over the Giants and Daniel Jones. So pause on Daniel Jones. Last game, Pats against the Vikings, and this was this was like tough, but it's also like kind of easy because there's like really nobody on the Pats I would ever want to start. But this also has a game that it could lead to a shootout, and the reason I'm saying that is because the Vikings are their defense is not the great. They're the 24th. Their defense is 24th in opposing quarterback scoring. And Kirk Cousins the Vikings have the weapons to put up points. If this gets in a shootout, Mac Jones has the possibility to put up some points. But the thing is, he could try. I don't think he's going to succeed. Their passing game is not good. In the last 4 games, the highest point total Mac Jones has had was 10. And that was a couple of weeks ago against the Jets. He's not putting up the numbers. The passing game does not look good. I don't think Mac Jones is going to be able to keep up with the offense. There's probably going to be some turnovers. I don't think you have him on your team either way. He's probably on waivers where you should be. If you do have him, this is a game that you pause on him. Pause on Mac Jones. The one person I would try to play would be Stevenson. The Vikings are also 24th in running back scoring. I know there's a lot of talk about Harris getting involved, and let him be involved. Get him involved. That's okay. Harrison has been a killer this year. Since week 3, every game since week 3 he's had at least 10 points. Out of those games, 4 of those games have been over 15, and he's had one game that was over 20 points. I think a big thing for him is that he's got 49 targets this year, so they're really getting him involved in the passing game because the rest of it sucks. So he's getting those receptions, and so even if Harris comes in and takes some rushing attempts from him, Stevens is highly involved in the passing game where he could get a majority of his points too. So if you're going to have to play anybody, I would play him. RB2. He was almost a boom or bust for me because I think there's a good chance that he could probably get 2 touchdowns this game with, so that would blow up his projection points, go over his projection points, but I'm not too confident about it. But I do see at least a 1 touchdown this game with him, so I would definitely play him. And that's it. If you made it this far, thanks. Oh, side note. So I spoke to my Faja, and I was like, what do you think about James Cook being a boom or a bust? And he was just like, no, I wouldn't start him just yet. I wouldn't do it. I think he's a bust. So there's a difference in the Uthenwoldt family. But who's going to be right? Is it the elderly man or the young buck? Stay tuned and we'll see. All right, everybody. If you stayed this far, please give us a like. We really appreciate it. We love the dopamine high. Give us some subscriptions, please. We're getting so close. We love doing these videos. We're getting close to 100. If we could, I can't even imagine that when we first started 100 videos, but still hundreds more to come. Please leave a comment. If you guys got any questions about anything, you can ask us in there. We're always checking and see if we can give you guys some answers to help you guys win your league. So with that being said, I hope all you guys win, and I hope you guys all enjoy your turkey. And we'll talk later. See ya.